Welcome to AquarianRadio.com.
AquarianRadio.com.
Aloha and welcome to Aquarian Radio at AquarianRadio.com. I'm your host, Janet Carol Lesson, the director of Aquarian Radio, with my co-host, Dr. Sasha Lesson. And let's see, what is this? This is an episode of Extraterrestrial Contact, and today's episode is called Secret Mars Bases, Corporate Control, Slave Labor, and Interstellar Human Trafficking.
It's Chapter 4 in Dr. Michael Sala's...
Chapter 14 in
14.
Dr. Michael Sala's Insiders Revealed Secret Space Program and Extraterrestrial Alliances, from which Dr. Lesson and I will read excerpts.
The Nazi SS pursued a parallel industrial empire. They made weapons of war using millions of slaves. The Nazi SS devoted all it could salvage as the war ended in 1945 to secret bases in South America and Antarctica. The SS cooperated with the Vril Society, which had its parallel secret space program moved to 3 remote Antarctic bases before and then during the war. The SS, with the Black Sun elite, worked with the Vril Society and used their new bases to continue building advanced weapons and spacecraft. The surviving Vril and Nazi forces defeated Byrd's Operation Highjump in 1947.
The Nazis pressured the Truman and Eisenhower administrations into signing secret agreements. Nazi assets then infiltrated and took over much of the U.S. military-industrial complex and the emerging corporate-run space program. The interplanetary corporate conglomerate slave labor was continued by a Nazi-infiltrated U.S. military-industrial complex in deep underground military bases and corporate elements of secret space programs.
Jump to here.
Okay. Let me see where I'm supposed to go. In underground bases on Earth and beyond, an empire of slaves is being used to build new generations of advanced weapons and spacecraft for a corporate secret space program. The Nazi SS infiltrated secret space programs such as the interplanetary corporate conglomerate that has an extensive number of bases on Mars.
Now, Corey Goode was picked from his home by a blue indigo sphere that belongs to a group of advanced extraterrestrial visitors called the Sphere Beings Alliance. The Sphere Beings Alliance had appointed him, Goode, as their selected delegate for the meetings involving the Earth's secret space program. The Sphere took Goode to a secret base on the Moon, the Lunar Operations Command, and there Goode met with a Lieutenant Colonel Gonzalez, that's a pseudonym, and Gonzalez was representing the Secret Space Program Alliance faction that wanted to fully disclose to the world the truth about extraterrestrial life and advanced technologies. Goode and Gonzalez were each assigned a security team of 2 intuitive empaths, and they went with him on their trip to Mars. And on the trip was really quick. It only took 30 minutes.
Gonzalez told the ICC representative, we appreciate them agreeing and allowing us to bring one family of our choosing back with us to question and provide sanctuary to or allowed to return to their home. The ICC representative gave Gonzalez a list of ICC facilities on Mars in the Northern Hemisphere. Gonzalez requested a location in the Southern Hemisphere that was not on the list. The ICC representative then told us,
This is Goode talking.
The people at this facility were here for generations, and they were under the impression for decades now that the Earth had been through a cataclysm and was no longer inhabitable. And he said that we are being asked not to reveal this. Good revealed that he was from Texas to one member of the base security team, who presumably had been told that the Earth's surface had been previously devastated in some cataclysm, which resulting in this led to a growing commotion among the base security team, resulting in their sudden replacement. Excuse me. More security personnel told us to halt, and they separated the security team that was with us, disarmed them, and escorted them to the trains and left. We were not to communicate with the security team unless it was to do with security, something security related. Exit politics agreements had been reached with up to 900 different extraterrestrial civilizations. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's something later.
They got into this sort of auditorium thing. There was a large smart glass screen that showed them the technologies that the base that they wound up looking at produces. It was said that they had ongoing trade agreements with 900 civilizations. Well, the family was chosen to accompany Good and his companions back to Lunar Operations Command. And first they were going to have a debriefing from the facility before they left. A man, a woman, a teenage son, and their preteen daughter showed up. Gonzalez said, "There's another member of your family who isn't present." And the father said, "How could you know that?" And Gonzalez said, "Well, our people have special abilities." By that he meant psychic abilities. But at that time, the family just clammed up and they wouldn't say a word.
The base commander became irate when challenged by Gonzalez, and he was thrown into a detention cell. And soon he was joined by Good and his two-man security team. And Good is talking. We saw quite a lot of people in psychological distress locked up. The base commander, who is a tyrant and a total megalomaniac, he talked about how the blue indigo spheres belonged to the Sphere Alliance, who had rescued them. And the blue indigo orb friends were zipping through the walls of the cell, one for each of us. Slave labor conditions exist at some of the facilities where civilians are psychologically manipulated and physically abused by tyrannical base leaders who tolerate no dissent.
So the British, with the support tacitly of M16, are preparing the British elite for disclosures about these colonies and about the dictatorships by megalomaniacal tyrants who have been abusing workers for years. How to remove these Mars colony dictators without killing off their personnel and or destroying their facilities is something that humanity is going to have to eventually confront. Millions of captured humans are taken off planet to distant colonies on other worlds to be bartered or abused. Good claims that galactic human slave trade is opposed by an alliance of a secret space program, it's called the SSP Alliance, that plans to disclose the full truth about the abusive practices that have plagued humanity for centuries. And it's been they're run by a corrupt local elite here on Earth, the Cabal, the Illuminati, and the intervention by imperialist space powers, the Draco Federation Alliance and Empire, is part of this scheme to capture people and use them in the slave trade. Now what happens is the specialists who work for these people have lists of desired people to be obtained. Others are just victims of opportunity. But the specialists they're looking for are kind, elderly-looking or people or professional people. People are just grabbed also who live in the streets in third world countries or from inattentive parents. Hundreds of thousands of people per year are taken, says Good. These people are handed off to handlers in exchange for money. The Cabal Illuminati people funnel the abducted people into their processing centers, and it is decided if they will be sent below ground for various uses by allied ETs, or will be used as a commodity in off-world trade.
Some ETs are interested in some of the Earth's art. And so we have some missing historical art pieces that are off-world in collections. And they're also interested in spices and chocolate, strangely enough, animal and plant life. And they use it in their trading, in trading their technology and biological specimens they have obtained elsewhere for human beings. And these humans are used for many purposes, including manual slave labor, sex trade, engineering, manufacturing. Some of the ETs use humans as food. Excuse me. The secret Earth governments and their syndicates discovered that a large amount of humans were being taken off planet by various ETs anyway, so they decided to find a way to profit from it and have control over which people were being taken off. They were made promises of receiving technologies and biological specimens for allowing groups to abduct humans, but the ETs rarely delivered on their promises. The Cabal, ICC, decided to use human trafficking as one of their resources in interstellar bartering. Some of the perpetrators of the galactic human slave trade, which includes among the list the tall white extraterrestrials, who were talked about by retired U.S. Air Force Airman Charles Hall, and they're working closely with the covert faction of the Air Force.
The solar system-wide quarantine put in place by the Sphere Being Alliance has cut back on the number of captive humans previously taken outside the solar system to be traded or sold. And there's also the ancient Mayan space program, which has established colonies in the Pleiades, and this has helped significantly in mitigating the galactic slave trade by freeing captive humans and relocating them to sanctuaries in their colonies. These are the Mayans. After a full disclosure event, Good describes a positive future for humanity once we get full disclosure. The former victims of the galactic human slave trade or those used as slave labor in interplanetary corporate conglomerate facilities will then safely return home, and humanity's evolution is one of the chief goals of our friends, the Sphere Being Alliance, according to Good, as reported by Michael Sala.
And that's been another episode of Aquarian Radio.
Extraterrestrial contact.
And we're doing extraterrestrial contact, and I did like his statement that we are now ready to experience a Star Trek-like civilization. It is the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, so let us hope that that happens. And thank you very much for joining us today. Much love and blessings, and aloha.